This is Columbus Concerns, a public affairs presentation of North American Broadcasting. Here's your host, Mark Nuce.
And thanks so much for joining us today on Columbus Concerns. You know, Columbus has an incredible food scene, a lot of nationally recognized and award-winning restaurants, bakeries, breweries, distilleries, and more. And now there's a book that shows it off. It's called Cooking Through Columbus, The Ultimate Guide to Eating Through Columbus. And there are three authors of this book, and they are with us on the program today. Tim Trad, Andrew White, and Niall Woodson are here. And gentlemen, thanks so much for coming in.
Hey, thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, I really appreciate you guys coming in today. And before we get started on the book, it's a beautiful book. It's like a coffee table book, and it's got lots of pictures and lots of recipes from restaurants around Columbus. But why don't let's start, and you can tell us a little bit about yourselves and how you got involved in this. Let's start with you, Niall.
Yeah, I'm originally from New York City. I moved to Columbus in 2010 to do an internship. I ended up staying, completing college at the Ohio State University, and shortly after started a restaurant called High Poke. We did pop-ups into a food truck, into brick and mortar. So I've seen all the sides of the restaurant industry, and sort of that's what built the platform for us to kind of start this cookbook project.
And Tim, tell us about how you got involved.
Hey, thanks again for having us. I grew up in Columbus and spent some time traveling, and during that time kind of found the reputation that Columbus had as a farm town and not the 14th largest city in the country. So a little bit out of selfishness, and pride, and a little bit out of just seeing a hole in the market, I came back in 16 or 17 and started a company called Only in Sea Butts, which was just kind of talking about what's going on in the city, helping people connect with what to do, where to go, where the cool stuff is, what to avoid. And it fit in perfectly with what we're trying to accomplish with the book.
And Andrew, tell us about your involvement.
Sure, yeah. So I've been doing food photography in Columbus for a few years now, and I've really enjoyed working with restaurants and taking pictures of the dishes that the chefs would create, and just wanted to get more eyeballs and share the word and spread more information about the restaurants and the food scene here, and put something together for everybody to enjoy.
Niall, tell us a little bit about the book. It's organized according to what part of the city these restaurants are in.
Yeah, so Columbus it's got a big footprint, and it's easy to kind of get stuck in one area or disconnected from the other areas. So it was really important to us to show the city as a whole. Now, there are a lot of smaller neighborhoods. Like if you talk to someone from Columbus, oh, I'm in the Short North, or oh, I'm in German Village, which is sort of a blanket statement for even smaller neighborhoods like Victorian Village, Italian Village. And so originally we wanted to do it dissected by neighborhood, but there's a lot more intricate lines there. So we figured we would just do geographical regions. So north, east, southwest, and then central, which accounts for downtown, Short North, kind of the campus-y area, the center.
And you also have a section on food trucks, right?
We do indeed. We have a food truck section. We have a section on the North Market, because the North Market sort of stands alone as like this beacon of food on the food scene in Columbus. And then we also have a fun, small little one-liner section with Jenny, of Jenny's Ice Creams, about her favorite places to eat desserts in the city. So some pro information on that page.
Yeah, everybody knows Jenny's Ice Cream. So having her featured in there, we were like, you're already the name of desserts. So instead of let's talk about ice cream, tell us your favorite places. Mm-hmm. And so you got from the queen of desserts, what are her favorites? So you can kind of go through there and try those as well.
And how did you choose the restaurants that are in the book?
We just begged. No, we really just presented the idea, and the places that understood the concept got involved. We definitely got turned down by some places, which I hope they see the value now and we're able to work with them later. But for the most part, everybody we approached that's in the book was very excited, on board, and got it.
And it's interesting because it's not only about each one of the restaurants and about the Columbus food scene, but each restaurant gave you a recipe. And Andrew, was it hard to get them to give away some of their recipe secrets?
I wouldn't say it was hard. They kind of understood that, no matter how many times somebody could make that dish at home, they're going to be the experts, and so it wasn't too hard to get them to give us that information.
Some people did turn us down, though. They said no.
Yeah.
There's no way that anybody could cook better than the places. You could try it at home, but it's going to be different when you go there. So we did get turned down by a few, but for the most part, everybody understood.
Yeah, I mean, I think a couple things. One, being that I am a restaurant owner, I think that took some of the barriers down. Like, hey, if he's doing it, we can do it too. Yeah. I think there's naturally a lot of distrust in the food industry because people view it as a very competitive industry, which it is.
Yeah.
But the reality is that for however many restaurants there are, there's many more hungry people who literally have to eat multiple meals a day. So it's like, okay, cool. If we're all doing good food and people are eating, then we all win. So like cutting through that distrust factor and just being like, the reality is that we make hundreds of these dishes every day. And so like Tim said, the one time the one person makes that one dish at home, sure, it's going to be great. These recipes are super approachable. But at the same time, you're just never going to be able to make it like the pros.
I do not have a pizza oven at home.
Right, exactly. That's, thousands and thousands of dollars imported from Italy where you burn a specific log to like create, that's just... You'll never quite be able to do that.
But the intention is good, and they understood it. Like, we want to send people to their restaurant. We're not trying to take business away or raise an awareness. So everybody got that, and they were really excited about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and when I see these recipes, the first thing I think is I could call DoorDash and have that here in about half an hour. That'd be great.
That worked too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
The book is called Cooking Through Columbus, The Ultimate Guide to Eating Through Columbus. And Tim, what's the website where people can order the book and learn more about it?
Yeah, you can go to cookingthroughcolumbus.com, all spelled out, and order a book there. Get shipped directly to you. It's pretty simple. I mean, we're in stores all over, but the easiest way would just go to cookingthroughcolumbus.com, order that thing, we'll ship it out.
Our guests on the program today are the authors of Cooking Through Columbus. Niall Woodson is here, Tim Trad, and Andrew White. Andrew, you talked about how you've been taking photographs of food for a long time. The photographs in this book, there are probably hundreds of them. They're beautiful. Talk a little bit about how you approach taking photographs of dishes.
Yeah, thank you for that. So for this book, I wanted to focus on what guests could expect to experience in the restaurant. So they're all shot inside the restaurants in their spaces in a way that makes the space look nice and focuses on the food. I tried to use natural light for the most part to really give it that nice look and natural, make it look enjoyable, and keeping it simple and showing off the food and working with the chefs to make sure it's plated well and just have it look nice and appetizing.
Well, I can tell you, after looking at your photographs, I tried to make those sliders that I made last night look really good for my wife. I put a little pickle on top.
There you go.
Yeah, it was
gotta
great.
get fancy.
The plating.
Not good enough for a picture, though, I'm afraid. Niall, talk about your experience. You are a restaurant owner, and talk about how you got started, and tell us about your restaurant.
Yeah. So High Poke is we call it an island-inspired restaurant. Poke is a traditional Hawaiian dish, basically a sushi bowl. They referred to it as like surfer's sashimi. You kind of cut up the fish that you pulled out of the ocean that day and whatever veggies and sauces and kind of mix it over rice and enjoy your meal. We've kind of pulled elements from other islands and cuisines from around the world and kind of put it under this umbrella of island-inspired. So I've been on the journey with High Poke for 8 years now, but a couple years were particularly difficult during COVID, which is sort of how this project came to be. Andrew has been our longtime marketing director and photographer, and we were doing sort of an internal project of some new training materials for bringing back some of my staff and bringing in new employees post-pandemic. And so we had all these photos and all these recipes and these videos that we were doing, and it was like, oh, hey, why don't we just turn this into a cookbook? And so that idea implanted and then sort of snowballed from there, like, how can we, like, that's a great idea, but how can we make this bigger, you know, and how can we do something that's really not just going to support us, but going to support the food scene and the restaurants in the city. And so that's how Cooking Through Columbus came to be, is this cookbook that's not ours, it's everyone's. And it celebrates the food scene through the recipes contributed from everybody's favorite spots. And so we just kind of started pounding the pavement, and yeah.
That's terrific. And you know, it's interesting, Tim, because you talked about the reputation that Columbus has, and you know, I've lived here for more than 30 years now, and it used to be that people would say, well, you know, Columbus just doesn't have the ethnic neighborhoods like a Cleveland or Pittsburgh or Cincinnati, and we just don't have the same food scene, and it's very vanilla here and that kind of thing. But boy, the diversity has really picked up, and there are lots of different types of restaurants now.
Yeah, if you stick to a specific area, you could definitely get that. And that's the thing. If you go to a city and you walk down the wrong street, it's not like New York where you can just walk in any place and eat food at any time. You know, you kind of have to know a little bit. And that's the point of the book, is to try to give people direction on where to head. You know, because if you went to where all the bars are, you're like, oh, they only have fried food. But if you drive 10 minutes north, where I grew up off of, you know, where Northwood Mall is, everywhere out there. Like, I drive out there to get the Thai spices and the rice noodles and stuff like that. There's Mexican grocery stores. Like, you can get really good supplies, and then there's a bunch of restaurants out that way that you can get eat all over the world in one little spot 10 minutes out of downtown. So the goal of this book is to try to help people find the places they want, as opposed to just, I don't know, Yelping or driving around and hoping you find a good place. So it's here. You just got to find it.
Was it a collaboration? Andrew, was it a collaboration? Did everybody write some of the stuff in the book, or how did that work?
Yeah, we all worked together to put the words down on paper. Niall did a lot of the writing. Tim did writing. I wrote. We all played our part. And
do you remember how many words it was? We were surprised by that when they told us the final word count. It was like 18,000 words or 15,000 words.
It's a lot of words.
Like
We didn't think about that when we got started. We were like, take some pictures, put some recipes. But each place has a bit of a write-up about it, so you get a little bit of a story, some information, maybe some comedy. There's definitely a lot of value in the book outside of just the beautiful photos.
Yeah, I mean, my English teachers and professors would be proud. And they'd also cringe at the same time.
There was some editing.
The number of commas and edits that needed to go in. But the flow was there. The language was there. You know, that's the key.
Yeah. And Niall, you were telling me earlier that the Columbus food scene, there's a lot of, I guess, what you would call fusion, where people take different types of dishes, different types of ethnicities of food, and put them together in their own unique way.
Yeah, I think that a big trend, we were kind of talking about trends in food and how COVID impacted a lot of things. And so there's more fast casual, there's more grab and go, there's more new aspects to dining post-COVID. But I think we realized that the world, like, there's a lot more interconnection than we see, especially through something like the pandemic, you know, like where it impacted all of us and we're all in this together. So you get that mentality going into food where there's much more of an international approach to it. Like, people want other things and other flavors. And so it's only natural that if you're having a flavor from across the world in a place where you're from, that there's going to be this blend and fusion of, like, those cultural profiles and flavors and what's available and accessible. You might not be able to get the same ingredients, so you kind of make work what you have. So yeah, we're seeing a lot more diverse foods and being done in cool, different, creative ways that really merge all the elements, all the ingredients.
Well, I have to put you all on the spot. By the way, the name of the book is Cooking Through Columbus, The Ultimate Guide to Eating Through Columbus, and their website is Cooking Through Columbus. If you're interested in getting this book, which if there are foodies in your family, would make a great gift for the holidays coming up. And it's a really cool coffee table book, but also a cookbook, because there are lots of terrific recipes in it. But I have to put you guys on the spot just for a minute and ask you, do you have a favorite recipe or a favorite dish or a favorite restaurant in the book? And let's start with Andrew.
So many great ones to pick from. It's pretty tough to make one decision, but one that I have made on a few occasions has been the vegetable curry from Portia's Cafe. Now that we're entering soup season, it's a perfect little treat to have, and it makes a ton of food, and it's really tasty and really good for you. So right now, that's the top of the list for me.
Okay, Tim?
My answer changes every time, but you just opened to the Tossie page with the challah French toast with bananas and maple syrup. That's going to be my favorite right now because as soon as I saw that photo, I was like, I got to have it. Tossie closed the location where we shot that, but they are reopening, correct? Somewhere else?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. Well,
I think so.
There's no way that you can keep Tossie down. So that challah French toast, it's got to come back, and I'm going to go eat it for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, now wait a minute. You can pick your own restaurant if you want.
I was gonna say
He's
I'm
going
a little
to.
biased,
Yeah.
but I also say like Tim made a good point. There are places in this book that throughout the time that we've been putting it together have closed.
Yeah.
Tossie being one of them, and there was this bit of debate like, will we keep them in or will we take them out? And ultimately, like they've made their mark on the food scene, and they're immortalized through that and through these recipes. So Tossie is still in the book, and yes, that challah French toast is insanely good. Like I don't even know. I don't know.
It has bananas on it, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
you can't.
They
you
put them
can't
in
go
the
wrong.
syrup.
Oh my.
But that's a risk of putting smaller companies or trying to put new startups on the map. Is there is that risk that they may not make it?
Yeah.
So, anyways, what's your favorite? Don't try to stall.
I mean, there's a place called High Poke that makes pretty
Boo.
delicious
Really?
food. Yeah.
Okay.
In fact,
I've heard of that, yeah.
I've heard good things about it.
Yeah.
I'd recommend checking it out. But no, part of the book, selfishly, is we put all of our favorite restaurants in. So the whole book really is full of it. But there's a small
That's a good tagline.
Thai, yeah.
The whole book is full of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a small Thai grocery restaurant called Bangkok. And so like shining the light on some of the smaller guys is like really fulfilling. And that's my favorite restaurant in Columbus for a long time. And they know my order. And so when I approach them about contributing recipes to the book, they're like, which thing do you want? You always get all these things. And ultimately they were like, let's just do, a bunch of them. So we have a couple things in there from them, which is awesome. It makes me very happy to open it up and see that spread.
Our guests on the program today are Niall Woodson, Tim Trad, and Andrew White, and they have authored the book Cooking Through Columbus, The Ultimate Guide to Eating Through Columbus. So, Tim, when you put the book together, are you basically focusing on mom and pops, family-owned, locally owned restaurants instead of chains?
We wanted to mix it with some of the well-knowns to give them the attention or the praise that they're due. The Mikeys who started selling pizza to drunk people in the short north, 12 years ago, and what he's built from that. It started with like a solving a problem, and then he turned it into a really massive thing. And so to bring people like that in, who founding fathers, whatever you want to call them, of that current food scene, but then also giving the new people some attention as well. So it is a mixture of the old and the new. We didn't want to leave out the legends, but we didn't want to only talk about the same 5 places you've always heard. So we wanted to mix it up.
Yeah. And it's, Niall, it's a tough business, right?
It ain't easy. It's a labor of love for sure. Indeed it is.
And do you have trouble these days? It seems like every business, but especially I would think in the restaurant business, the biggest trouble right now is trying to keep enough people on your payroll, finding good people to work for you.
Yeah, I mean that's a whole other radio show. We could talk about that for a long time. Some things have changed in recent times that have, for whatever reason, made it difficult to bring on staff and keep staff. There's a lot of this like it's easy to hire, but it's hard to hire good. And I think that's like really present right now. Is like there's people around, but they're not necessarily working that hard.
Yeah,
seems to be sort of the trend. And then, that's super general, but yeah, that's a whole other radio show that we could do another time.
Yeah. Andrew, talk a little bit about I know that some of these restaurant owners and things you talked about how they're kind of friends of yours, right? And you've gotten to know them over the years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, part of the reason why I wanted to tell these stories and share this book with people is, when you work with a restaurant and you get to know a little bit about the owner and the chef and the story behind the restaurant, the food becomes a little bit more enjoyable. It's most people walk into a restaurant, they order their food, they eat, and they leave, and that's that. But, when you can connect yourself to a place and learn more about it, you begin to feel more part of the community and enjoy the food a little bit more.
I'll go to Tim first here, but you guys can all chime in at any time. But is there such a thing as a Columbus food, a Columbus style of food? You think Cincinnati, you think chili.
Yeah.
You think maybe Cleveland, you think of something else. But what style would you say, or is there a Columbus dish?
I don't think so. I might get murdered for that, but I really don't think that we have a specific thing. There's some Midwest cities that are trying to force something, and I like that we haven't done that.
Yeah.
Just as much of it on top of each other as possible seems to be, there's a lot of restaurants. We talked about the test market a little bit in the promo for this. For years, Columbus has been, if we want to try something new, restaurants will give it to Columbus. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but if you like to eat food, it's a good thing. So I don't think that there's necessarily a Columbus style food, but what I really feel like is happening or has been happening is it's a blend of food from everywhere, and people authentically do it well, as opposed to, if you see, I went into a hibachi place one time and I had a white dude as the hibachi chef, and you were just like, wait a minute, and there's comedy about guys doing that or whatever. So it's when you go into a place and it's authentic, truly authentic, they're not trying to be something. That's what a lot of Columbus, or at least my experience of a lot of Columbus, a lot of the people that we put in here, somebody who was raised cooking a dish, or they're passed down from their family, or even Niall found out about a dish and then researched how to do it well, as opposed to being oh, we can make money from that. Because if you want to make money, opening a restaurant might not be the best. The best
or
route.
just pizza and burgers, hot dogs. Just play the favorites. You have a much higher chance of success.
Yeah, so I think that Columbus doesn't have a style of food, but has a style of restaurateur or food maker, and that's what we try to showcase.
Niall, we talked earlier about how the book is divided into geographic regions of the city, but you say, you also included in here the North Market. Talk about why you thought that it was important just to include the North Market, the one downtown.
Yeah, the North Market has been around for a very long time, and it's always sort of been a pillar of the food community, whether it was really heavily a market when it originally opened. You would go there and get all your groceries and things like that, whereas there's still that element now, but it has kind of merged a little bit more into a food hall. But it's always stood for supporting the mom and pop sort of establishments in growing, and I think it's achieved that in a great way. And so it's fostered a lot of flavor that we see in the city, and sort of set that trend for that to become cool, to become the norm, which I'd credit it with a lot of the food scene here, being an inspiration at the very least to what's possible.
And that it seems like the food hall trend has sort of been going around there, more than one right now, right? Around the city, and that's a kind of a fun thing to do, actually. I think.
It's nice, and there's something for everyone, right?
Yeah.
So you don't have to know what you're gonna eat when you go there. If you go to a restaurant, unless it's Cheesecake Factory with the world's largest menu and something from literally every place in the world, you generally know you're in this range of dishes. Whereas you go to the food halls and the markets and you're what do I feel like today? You smell something that you weren't thinking of and you're drawn to that, or you see something and then you can kind of choose. It makes it easy, especially if you have a bickering family or a large group of people who no one can make up their mind. You're all right, we're going here. You all can figure out what you want to do. I'm going to grab the noodles or, whatever that thing is.
Oh, yeah. Love those places. I could eat my way from one end to the other.
Yeah, that's the other thing. You can get a little something from multiple spots, and you get your little smorgasbord.
Yeah.
It feels like the foundation of the food scene, so we kind of had to give it its own nod. Like you said, those food hall trends are big, but the North Market's been around for over 100 years doing it, and it's really where that boutique food experience started in the city.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So they needed the nod.
And also, Andrew, the food truck trend has also been a lot of fun in the city.
Oh yeah, everywhere you go, there's really great food, and that's the beauty of the food trucks. They can pull up wherever they want, and you can get good food anywhere.
Yeah. Is that that's how you got started, right, Niall? With food truck?
Yep, wheels up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the pirate's life, you know, you just kind of pull up somewhere and plant your flag and take over a corner for a couple hours and then leave.
Yeah.
And find the next corner, you know.
There's also, I for the last few years, there's been this trend of, I guess I've heard the term ghost kitchen. Tell us, what is that? And is that something that's still going on in Columbus?
Yeah, for sure. I guess the concept is, say you make pizza, but you have ovens. It would be easy for you to bake pie also.
Yeah.
So then you create this thing, you know, pies galore, right?
Yeah.
As this restaurant with shares your address, and then now you're selling pies on Uber Eats or DoorDash. So you can kind of take advantage of some downtime, or, you know, utilize your resources and staff better, you know. So it does create sort of a new income stream, which is obviously very attractive to most business people. More income is good, right?
Yeah.
And cross-utilize sort of what you have available to you.
Yeah. Well, the name of the book is Cooking Through Columbus, The Ultimate Guide to Eating Through Columbus. Tim, how can we get a hold of the book?
Head over to cookingthroughcolumbus.com and you can grab it right there.
And it's also in bookstores as well locally?
It is, yeah. We're in pretty much all the bookstores. I think these guys drove around the other day looking for it. Yeah, it's all over the place. Cookingthroughcolumbus.com, that was the easiest way to get it.
Fantastic. Niall Woodson, Tim Tradd, and Andrew White have been our guests today talking about their book, Cooking Through Columbus, The Ultimate Guide to Eating Through Columbus. Gentlemen, thanks for coming by today, and good luck with book sales.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Columbus Concerns, a public affairs presentation of North American Broadcasting. You can send questions or comments about today's show to Columbus Concerns in care of this station, 1458 Dublin Road, Columbus 43215. Or email us at columbusconcerns@napcomedia.com.
I'm Tiffany Haddish.
And I'm Marlon Wayans. African Americans are 3 times more likely to be diagnosed with pancreatic cancer than any other racial or ethnic group.
When you or someone you love is facing a pancreatic cancer diagnosis, access to cutting-edge treatment can help make long-term survival possible and improve future patient outcomes.
That's why Stand Up to Cancer and the Lust Garden Foundation have teamed up to bring over 30 pancreatic cancer clinical trials to those who need them.
Learning all you can about pancreatic cancer, including treatment options and what clinical trials are available, can give you or a loved one even more than hope. It can help make long-term survival possible.
For more information about the latest pancreatic cancer research and clinical trials near you, visit pancreaticcancercollective.org.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
GOAT, G-O-A-T, acronym, stands for Greatest of All Time. As in, spaghetti sandwiches for dinner? They're my fave. Dad, you're the GOAT.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Food. Our survival relies on it. Yet every day in central Ohio, nearly 1 million pounds of it enters the landfill. When we choose to throw food away, we're choosing to discard all the resources that were invested along the way, not to mention the money that's being tossed out. But together, we can make choices that make a difference in our community and protect our environment. Learn more at safemorethanfood.org, a program of SWACO.